Welcome to How to Run a Dog Show Part 2. So in the first part, you should now have sorted to start with a fun dog show, a date or dates when not to run one, where to look for a venue, must have toilets, parking, get permission, where to look for a judge and steward, presents, and the roles of a judge and steward. Now the next part is insurance and license. You only need a license if you're running a companion dog show. So if you're just running a fun dog show, you don't need a license. Now, I've mentioned it before, but a companion dog show is if you've got classes like gun dog, hound, terrier, etc., very much like Crufts. Your classes are going to be fun classes, waggiest tail, cutest puppy, handsome dog, etc. That's a fun dog show. You can get insurance and a license from the Kennel Club. Fun dog shows, you'll need public liability insurance. Google something like Dog Insurance UK and you'll come up with different companies. Just find one you want to go with. Tell them the date, tell them how many people you're expecting. If you don't know, just estimate it, where you're holding it, and you'll get insurance for the day. It's not expensive, but you will need it just in case the worst happens. Rosettes. Things to consider. Start with first to third. Reason being is you don't know how many people are coming. You don't want to start off with loads and loads of rosettes and then you've got all these left over and you don't know what to do with them. So start off with first to third. Unless you know that you're going to get hundreds of people coming, and then that's absolutely fine. But if it's your first ever dog show, you've not done one before, you're starting from scratch, just start with first to third. Rosette colours are: first is red, second is blue, third is yellow, fourth is green, fifth is pink, and sixth is purple. Now, first will always be red. It always is. Second is always blue and third is always yellow. Fourth is always green. Now, sometimes fifth can be white, for example, or even orange, but sixth is normally purple. So if you're thinking to yourself, yeah, but why? Why are they? Why does it matter? Can't I have, I don't know, like my colours, my logo or my school is purple, so I want purple for first? No is the answer. And the reason is I've been selling rosettes for many, many, many years. I've done many dog shows and I've run many dog shows. And trust me, if people don't get a red one for first, they won't display it, they won't show anybody, and they probably won't even come. It is that important to them because a lot of people will go to multiple dog shows and what they want to do is have a display of all the red ones they've won, have a display of all the yellow ones they've won, and all the blue ones and all the green ones and so forth. Okay. Some people just want to display the first ones. So if they win a rosette at your show and their first is, say, orange, they think, well, I can't display it with all the others. I can't display it. I don't want to do it. In fact, I won't even go to that dog show. Their colours are weird. I don't like it. So stick to the traditional colours. Best in show and reserve best in show. Now, I will sell these that just come from first to third. And that is absolutely fine. I do sell a lot of these. However, if you're running a dog show and you've gone through all of the classes and you've got all the winners of the classes, say you've got 10 classes, you've got all the winners, and then you pick the ultimate winner out of those and you say to them, thank you very much, well done. And they don't win anything. They think, oh, okay, how do I prove it to my friends? How do I tell everyone, oh, look what I got? Because there isn't anything. So I would really recommend getting a best in show and a reserve best in show, which is basically first and second overall. But again, this is entirely up to you. I do sell a lot of just first to third, but I would really recommend getting a best in show and reserve best in show. I would start with 10 classes. The reason why I'd start with 10 classes is simply because you don't want too many. If you have 20, 30 classes, first of all, I can't think of that many classes, but if you did, you'd find that a lot of people would just get bored after a while and think, oh, we'll just stay for an hour or so. We'll just do a little bit. But if you've got 10 classes, that's just enough. Anything less than that, again, is not really worth them coming out. So think about what I said from the start. They want to make a day of it, bring a picnic, you know, bring some chairs, enjoy themselves. They don't want to be there all day, but then they don't want to be there for 10 minutes either. So 10 classes is absolutely fine. Now, as I mentioned before, I do sell rosettes. So if you want to check them out at mbrosettes.com. Now, make sure, please, that you order your rosettes well in advance or you won't have any. And I don't mean this to sound rude, but I and all the other rosette makers have to make thousands of rosettes. We are busiest in the summer, no questions asked. And if you think you can order some rosettes on a Wednesday for, you know, even the pack of 30, for example, so 10 classes, first to third, 30 rosettes, and you say, yeah, I'll order them on Wednesday, they'll post them Thursday, my show's on Saturday, that'll be fine. If this is in like July, August, no. The reason is because most of us have so many other orders that we've got to do before we even get to you. So we're on a few days ago or even a week ago. So please make sure you give at least, you know, 2 weeks in the summer, it more if you can, but please try and give as much notice as you can, or you really are going to struggle. So where to advertise? You can set up an open Facebook page. You can advertise on Facebook events and groups. You can tell the local radio station, especially if the event is for charity. Most dog shows are for charity, so they'll be raised for anything local, local dog centre, you know, anything you want to do. Now, you don't have to do it for charity, of course you don't, but most people do it for charity. You can do a portion of it to this, you can have a portion of it to that. That is entirely up to you, but especially if you're doing it for, like I say, a charity, local radio stations will be interested. You could try the local paper. You can put posters and leaflets up. Obviously, make sure that you've got permission to do so. You can hand them out. Maybe there's, you know, the place that you're going to do it. You can say, can I put a poster up in, you know, in like, you know, in the building, or maybe if you go down to the local dog park and you just hand out leaflets and you just say, look, I've got a charity dog show coming up. Here's some details if you're interested. Okay, now sponsors. Now, sponsors is something that a lot of people don't think about, but they're really, really handy, especially when it's your first dog show. So you can get someone to sponsor the rosettes per class. So again, say you've got first to third, and you've got 10 classes, that's 30 rosettes. You can ask for 10 sponsors. So for example, you can ask for £5 a class. So it will cover the cost of the rosettes, and it will cover the cost of other bits and pieces as well. And with the sponsors, there's many ways of doing it. You can either call out the sponsors on the day. So class 1, Cutie's Puppy is sponsored by whatever it is. Sometimes people sponsor it on behalf of a pet they used to have. Sometimes it might be a business, could be anything. You can write it on the schedule if you want to. Class 1 sponsored by, you can also put this in your Facebook group and so forth. But make sure if someone's sponsoring it, make sure that you've told people, because if they're nice enough to sponsor, then you can do that. So what I'd do is on the Facebook group, I'd say, I'm looking for sponsors, £5 a class, please. Pick the class that you want, and then, yeah, pay the £5. And then you can then say, right, so we've got 9 classes left to be sponsored. Who would like to sponsor one? And do it that way. Now you can ask pet shops. You can ask them for any donations of biscuits. So these can be your prizes, or maybe as everyone's leaving, you can just have a little bag of biscuits. Say, help yourself to a biscuit, help yourself to a biscuit, and so forth. So just go to any local pet shop and just say, look, I'm running a charity dog show. Have you got anything that you can donate, please? Also, you can ask groomers for vouchers. I've done this multiple times. I've gone down to the local groomers and I've said to them, I only would like just one item if you've got it at all, please. This will go for best in show, but could you give me a discount on one of your grooming sessions, or could you donate one, for example, maybe claw clipping, or just a good groom or something like that. It doesn't have to be really expensive. And again, once you've got this, you can also say biscuits are donated by blah blah pet shop. We've also got, for the best in show, we've got a voucher to go to so-and-so's grooming parlour. It all adds to it. and it doesn't cost you anything, and it's advertising them and advertising you. Stalls. A lot of people say, oh, the hard work is complicated. But if you really break it down, so you advertise on Facebook, I've got a dog show coming up. This is where it is. We're looking for stalls. So you can put it on Facebook or anywhere that you're advertising it. You can find stalls on Stall Finder, which is stallfinder.com. You charge a fee. So for example, you might say £10 a stall. That's all I want, £10 a stall. You can be specific and say, oh, you can only take up this much space, or you can only have so many tables. That's up to you. But I personally wouldn't. If I was you, I would just do a flat fee, because you've not done this before. You don't know how many people are going to come. £10 a stall. If you know you've got a big area that you're having this dog show, there's going to be enough room for them. And booking some charity stalls as well. So for example, just find any local charities and say to them, would you like a stall? They don't even have to be anything to do with dog shows. You can have cat rescue. You can have the air ambulance. You can have any of these, and just contact them and say, I've got a dog show coming up. Hopefully I'm expecting a lot of people. Would you like a free stall? You can charge in advance, or they can pay on the day. This is totally up to you. Probably pay in advance, because they might turn up, they might not turn up, etc. But I would definitely, I just wouldn't worry about it, to be honest. If it's your first one, you've got 3 stalls, but 10 people said they're coming, okay, fine. It doesn't matter. It's your first one. You've got a few stalls there. You've got something for people to look at. A lot of stalls will probably say to you, I don't want the same stall coming as me. So if they're selling, for example, dog beds, you might say, I don't want any more dog bed stalls. Okay, that's fine. So you can say, right, we'll only have one selling dog food, one selling dog biscuits, another one, say, I don't know, could be something completely different, body shop stuff, or someone selling cakes, or someone selling teas and coffees, something like that. But probably, I would just keep them all separate, so you've got one of each, so there's no competition. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So you advertise, look on Stall Finder, tell them what you're doing. They say yes or no. You charge them a fee. Done. That's it. It's all you have to do. Classes. What are the best classes for a fun novelty dog show? Now, I've done many, many dog shows, and there are some classes, without a doubt, that get more people in. And that's exactly what you want. You want to raise more money for charity. You want more competition. If you've got classes where there's one person, then there's 2 people, then there's another person, do they really feel they've won? Do they really feel that they've beat other people? No, they want to be in a big class. Oh, I won that. Oh, I came second in that class. So here's my suggestion. Waggiest tail, cutest puppy, 6 months to 18 months, best veteran, 7 years plus, most handsome dog, prettiest bitch, best rescue, most appealing eyes, best trick, and I've put keep it under 2 minutes because some people will be there all day, best biscuit catcher. Again, I would say bring your own treats. Reason is some dogs can't eat certain things, and you don't want to have some biscuits and someone says, well, my dog can't eat those, what do I do? So bring your own treats. And the dog the judge would like to take home. So waggiest tail is simple. Get them all in a ring. The dog that wags the tail the most. Cutest puppy, exactly what it says. Best veteran, exactly the same. Most handsome, most pretty. Best rescue is any dog that's been rescued or rehomed. So either they might know somebody that didn't want the dog anymore and they went to the house and collected it, or maybe they went to a rescue centre and they got the dog from a rescue centre and they don't know the history. Either one, that's best rescue. Most appealing eyes, best trick, anything, best biscuit catcher, and the dog the judge would like to take home. So that's the judge's opportunity. So I just don't know what it is about this dog. I just really like it. They could be just one that they just saw throughout the show and thought, I just really like that dog. Obviously, they don't actually get to take them home. Other classes to consider. You've got best crossbreed, best 6 legs, cutest nose, nicest ears, best mover, child handler, naughty dog the judge would not like to take home, and any dog that's not won a first place. So best crossbreed, obviously any crossbreeds, best 6 legs. If you don't know what that is, that's 4 legs for the dog and 2 legs for the human. So for this class, if it's like, I don't know, say it's a man or a woman, sometimes they'll just roll their trousers up and say, yep, there you go. Or sometimes people put socks on their dog, or sometimes say their dog's got white fur, they might put white, big fluffy white socks on. It's fun. That's all it is. It's fun. Again, you're doing this for charity. You want to entertain the crowd. So it's a really good one. Child handler is exactly what it says. So again, it's up to you. If you've got someone that says, yeah, I've got my 2-year-old, they want to take the dog in, I would say to them, I think you probably need to enter as well and just stand next to them in case the dog pulls them over. You might have, say, a 13-year-old in there that's very experienced. So you've got to judge it. Obviously, that's the part of the judge to do this. So naughtiest dog the judge would not like to take home is the opposite to the dog the judge would like to take home. So I personally have run it where the judge would go up and say, so why shouldn't I take your dog home? And then they'd say, oh, do you know, they ripped a hole in the sofa, they wee on the carpets, they ripped my slippers to bits. And you can tell everyone enjoys it. And says, oh, my dog does that as well. Or, well, actually, I'm glad my dog doesn't do that. And it just brings the crowd together and everyone together. Now, there's 3 ways to enter a fun dog show. The first one is to pay and fill in a form. The second one is to pay in the ring. As I said earlier, the steward would go round. And the third one is to buy buttons. Now, this is going to sound really weird. I'll start with pay and fill in a form. So as they arrive, they would fill in a form, tick the classes they want. So you list them in order 1 to 10, for example. They'd tick, say, box 1, box 5, box 7. So that's £3. Again, I'm just saying it's £1 a class. You might want to charge more, of course. And then they'd pay, and that would be that. And you'd have a list of who's going to be in it. So you can say, right, there's going to be 16 people in this class. Let's count them. Okay, is anyone else? Because we've got someone else, you know, for this one. So it's a way of keeping on top of things. Paying the ring makes it a little bit quicker. There's less paperwork. Sometimes people don't want to fill in paperwork. They just want to get there, set their chair up, have a cup of tea, and then wait for the dog show to start and then enter. And buying buttons is a kind of in between. So they don't say what classes they want to do. And all I did is I went onto eBay and I bought some novelty buttons, really, really, really cheap, big bag of them. And basically you'd say, right, it's £1 a button. So exactly the same price. And all that would happen is they'd say, okay, right, so looking at the schedule, I think I'll do 5 classes. So they'll give you £5. You give them 5 buttons. Doesn't matter which class they want to do. Maybe they're like, oh, I missed that one. I'll go on to the next one instead. It's absolutely fine. The steward would then take the buttons off them. And that's it. And sometimes they'll come up to you and say, I've used my 5. Can I have another 2, please? Yeah, of course you can. Buy another 2 buttons. That's absolutely fine. So there's different ways of doing it. I would probably say paying the ring is the easiest. But it's all about getting people to join in and do things. So the buttons is to get money in advance, of course. Filling in the form is a good way of doing it. It controls things. You know how many people are going to enter. But sometimes people think, oh, I should have entered that one and I haven't now. I forgot to tick it. Oh, well, never mind. And that's a shame, because at least if they pay in the ring, they'll say, oh, yeah, we'll do this one as well. Oh, this is really fun. We'll do this one as well. So it's finding your way of doing it. So I'd probably start with paying the ring. And that's it for number 2. So please join me in the third part of how to run a novelty dog show.